Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the December 12th, 2024 meeting of the Historic Preservation Commission. Hearings before this commission are quasi-judicial in nature. It is a design review process to determine whether a proposed project is congruous with the special character of the historic district or landmark in which it is located. Decisions of the Commission are based on the record of these proceedings, the Wilmington Design Standards for Historic Districts and Landmarks, and the Secretary of Interior's Standards for Rehabilitation. Evidence submitted to the Commission for review will become part of the record. Appeal of a Commission decision must be submitted to the Wilmington Board of Adjustment within 30 days of the date of the Commission's action. Further appeal must be submitted to Superior Court. Evidence pertaining to an agenda item must be presented during the evidentiary portion of that item. Individuals who wish to address the Commission will be sworn in as witnesses to present material and substantial evidence. The Chair will recognize each witness who wishes to address the Commission during the evidentiary portion. In order to ensure that witness evidence is properly recorded, each individual is asked to come to the podium and clearly state their name and address before addressing the Commission. As a brief reminder, members of the Commission are appointed by and serve at the pleasure of City Council. Our charge is with respect to the protection and preservation of properties located within the city's designated historic districts. The Commission is held to the requirements of the Wilmington Design Standards for Historic Districts and Landmarks, as well as the applicable North Carolina state law. We are to determine whether exterior changes to a building are congruous with the special character of the city's historic districts. It is important that the Commission deliberate the merits of each request in a manner that provides a record for the basis of our decisions. Please remember, our deliberation should be centered on how a project meets the Wilmington Design Standards and whether the changes are congruous. Commissioners, if you have received or been made aware of any information outside this evidentiary hearing related to any agenda item before the Commission, please recuse yourself from that agenda item. Before the meeting begins, please ensure that all cell phones are in silent mode or turned off. I will begin by introducing city staff who are here this evening to help us with the meeting. We have Brian Chambers, who is Assistant Planning Director, Amy Bradshaw, Planning Coordinator, Gina Essie, who is with the Legal Department, and Ben Riggle, who is Historic Preservation Manager, and Monica Davis, who is a Preservation Planner. Okay. I am Kathleen Egan, the Commission Chair, and my fellow commissioners will now introduce themselves.
Ross Tomaselli.
Stephen Sulkey.
Ashley Wilson.
Christopher Yermel.
Joan Keston.
Thank you. We will now swear in those present who wish to present evidence related to any agenda item.
If I could have all staff, applicants, and members of the public. If you wish to speak tonight, you're going to need to stand up and be sworn in. Gentlemen? Okay. Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Thank you. We were provided with the draft of the minutes from the last meeting. Does anyone have edits or corrections they would like to offer to city staff?
No.
Then I make a motion that we accept the minutes as written. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, we will now open up the evidentiary portion of the meeting and move to the first item on the agenda, which is for two pieces of property, 505 and 509 Common Cap Way.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the Commission. The applicant proposes to construct two new dwellings at 505 and 509 Common Cap Way. I think you'll recognize this this project. This came before you a couple months ago, and they're back to make a similar request. It's not exactly the same. The subject properties are located to the rear of 416 North Fifth Avenue, which is on the east side of North Fifth between Red Cross and Walnut Streets. The subject property is a contributing resource in the HDR, and revisions to all facades of the building and the entire site are subject to design review. The subject lots are served by a private access drive called Common Cap Way. The access drive is 16 feet wide and 130 feet long and is set back 1 foot from the southern property line. On September 12th of this year, this commission approved the use of concrete as the construction material for this drive. The applicant proposes to construct a new two-story dwelling on each lot at 505 and 509. The proposed dwellings will be 22 feet wide and 39 feet deep and include front porches. The footprint for each dwelling is 858 square feet, and the overall height is 27 feet and 1 1/2 inches. The roof will have a 12-to-6 slope and be clad in black asphalt shingles. All gutters will be white aluminum. The dwellings will be clad in hardy board plank. All windows will be 2/2 in vinyl. The entry doors will be wood with 4-panel glass painted black, and the foundation will include 3 courses of 8-inch block. The parking areas are 8 feet wide and 26 feet long, and they will be constructed with 57 stone. If the commission elects to approve the request, staff recommends the conditions that are included in our case summary. Staff requests that our report and the material presented this evening be included in the record. And as a reminder, there will be 2 separate motions because we have 2 separate properties this evening. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have, and the applicant is prepared as well.
These houses are identical.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I saw the one plan, no
Yeah,
variation.
they're exactly the same.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions for staff? Oh, okay,
Thank you.
thanks, Brian. We will now give the applicant the opportunity to provide additional information or answer questions.
Good evening. Bernard Miller with Clover Group, the builder involved in the project. The 2 things that were brought up last month have now been changed. The first being the gable end
Yeah.
is now closed in to match what we had talked about, and all the windows now have just been, they're no longer going to be just black vinyl, it'll be standard vinyl windows. And that's the 2 things that were talked about changed, and
Sir,
2 things we
can you
corrected.
put the mics up a
Sorry.
little bit? You're too tall, sorry. I think it's the one closest to your right that's,
We'll just bend down a little bit.
yeah, great.
But we believe we've addressed the 2 things the 2 issues that were brought up in the last meeting, so, with the gable end and the windows. I'm answering any other questions if you have some.
I'm sorry, I noticed in the application, it just said the hardy siding was going to have the wood grain finish, but that is indeed smooth facing out. Is that right?
It's either or, so it can be either or. It depends on what side you flip it on. So they're open for either one. Usually it's the smooth finish.
That's
To
usually what
match-
we're required in the city.
Yeah, it's the smooth finish is what we had originally planned to match
Okay.
the existing structures around it.
Gotcha. All right.
And I think most buildings, that they require the smooth.
That's 99% of whatever we usually do, so, agreed.
Other questions?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Now we will open the evidentiary portion to members of the public. Okay, we'll close the evidentiary portion and go to commissioner deliberation.
They corrected the things from last time, so.
Okay, then we need 2 draft motions.
I move to approve with conditions the request for new construction and landscaping at the property located at 505 Common Cap Way. This request is consistent with the Wilmington Design Standards for Historic Districts and Landmarks, based on the evidence provided, including the application and all the attachments, testimony presented during the evidentiary hearing and the staff report. Along with the conditions 1 through 8 outlined in the staff report are compatible with the materials, features, design, tech, context, and character of the historic building and the surrounding historic district, and are congruous with the site, streetscape, and historic aspects of the district.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
You need to do the second one?
Yeah. I'm gonna do the second.
I move to approve with conditions the request for new construction and landscaping at the properties located at 509 Common Cap Way. The request is consistent with the Wilmington Design Standards for Historic Districts and Landmarks based on the evidence provided, including the application and on all attachments, testimony presented during the evidentiary hearing, and the staff report. The proposed changes, along with the conditions 1 through 8 outlined in the staff reports, are compatible with the materials, features, design, context, and character of the historic building and the surrounding historic district, and are congruous with the site, streetscape, and historic aspects of the district.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Aye.
Okay, we will move on to the next item in the agenda, which is 501 South Fifth.
Madam Chair, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Commission Board. The house located at 501 South Fifth Street is a contributing resource to the HDR. Our revisions to the building facades and site are subject to the review in this district. The proposal seeks to replace their current configuration of the 2 single-leaf doors on the front facade west elevation with a single double-leaf door. The new double-leaf door will be constructed in the same location as the existing doors and will reflect a historical sympathetic design. The house first appears on the 1910 Sanborn Fire Insurance maps, which depict a single-door entry. The rest of the insurance maps, 1915, 1951, 1955, also show a single-door entry. However, the archival photograph from 1982 shows the current configuration. The precise date of this modification remains unknown. The existing door, which include the company metal storm doors, are not historically appropriate and detract from the building's historical integrity. The proposed door will be solid mahogany crafted in traditional craftsman style, aligning with the architectural character of the early 20th century. The new door measure will be 66 by 96. The door would include an 8-light fixed tempered glass window. The glass would be clear with no tint as recommended by the staff to maintain the historical appropriateness. The proposed hardware is a Windsor Ordwell bronze handle set, which complements the craftsman's aesthetics. The staff supports the proposed installation of the double-leaf door with the following conditions that outlined in the summary report. Is there any questions?
Any questions for staff? No? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we will now invite the applicant to come forward and provide any additional information or answer questions.
Hello, I hope all is well. I'm Logan Kavanaugh, the owner of 501 South 5th Street Avenue. So what I'm proposing is that front door, obviously. And so I've gone as far as abiding by the standards that came out on page 61 and 74 of the design standards to make sure it's appropriate to the home. I've been working very close with Mr. Brian, Miss Megan, and Miss Cynthia to make sure that everything's as it should be. Very excited to see what we can get done, and I've even worked with the Historical Commission, and like she said, the latest pictures we have are from the early 80s, and it was changed over to an unauthorized duplex, so that's why there's 2 doors there.
Okay.
And so other than that, that's pretty much it. I've even gone as far as getting the engineered letter saying that the framing of the house and the header that's already in place is sufficient enough for the door that I'm proposing to be put in place. Any questions?
Thank you, that's very helpful. I was
Thank
trying
you.
to make sense of that, the 2 doors.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, the 8-light doors, why an 8-light instead of a 4-light? Because the windows are 2 over 2. I just thought it would go better, but is there a reason for that, or?
I just really like the door. I actually saw a house in the historical district in Richlands, North Carolina, that had a
Okay.
very much so similar door that was built, I believe, a year after. And it was one that my brother is restoring in Richlands. It's something we do. I've been in construction my whole life. I'm a 5th generation. My dad is commercial and residential, completely unlimited. And ever since I saw that door and he started doing it, I have fallen in love with it. But other than that, that's it.
All right,
Okay.
thank you.
Any other questions for the applicant? No? Okay, thanks very
Perfect.
much.
Thank you all.
Okay, we'll open the evidentiary portion now to members of the public. We'll close the evidentiary portion and go to commissioner deliberation.
I'm fine. Yeah.
Nice door. Yeah, good, okay.
Here, I'm going to do it.
Okay, then I just need a motion.
I'll do it. I move to approve with conditions requests for front door replacement at the property located at 501 South Fifth Street. The request is consistent with the Wilmington Design Standards for Historic Districts and Landmarks based on the evidence provided, including the application and all attachments, testimony presented during the evidentiary hearing and the staff report. The proposed changes, along with the conditions outlined in the staff report, are compatible with materials, features, design, context, and character of the historic district buildings and surrounding historic district, and are congruous with the site, streetscape, and historic aspects of the district conditions 1 through 4.
Do we have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. So Chris is going to.
Yeah, I'm recusing myself from this next agenda item.
Oops. Wrong one.
And we will now review 9 South Front.
Hello, Madam Chairwoman and the Commission. It's a pleasure to be presenting my first case for you guys. Hopefully I do all right for you. Case number 3 is for 9 South Front Street. It is contributing commercial building to the Commercial Business District Historic District Overlay. The proposed project entails removing the non-original storefront, rebuilding a new storefront, configured to more of the original configuration of the entrances with a double entrance. And they're also planning renovations to the south elevation, the side of the building. 9 South Front Street is located it's on Front Street and Benton-Core Alley. Apologize, I'm a little flustered here. They're also proposing to add new exterior lighting to the new storefront as well as the south side elevation. The existing storefront was installed sometime in the circa 1930s. It has the original storefront had 3 cast iron pilasters, and at that point, when they put the new storefront in, they added a faux pilaster. You can see the detail of the faux pilaster is because the trim along the top, between the transom and the storefront, the trim shows the faux pilaster. In addition, they're also going to repair the transom windows that were altered when they built the off-centered entryway and to install the double entries. Here's the project plan where they're proposing to install the 2 double entrances and an initial news article explaining how the building originally had double entrances with large display windows, which is more keeping with the historic character of the building. The applicant also proved the historic existence of double entrances with interior work by demolition. When they removed the existing floors, they discovered the original inset entryways, and they're going to be replicating those entryways. The windows along the south elevation on the side that is visible from Front Avenue down Benton-Core Avenue will be replaced with Peerless GS 600. Let me make sure I'm quoting those right materials here. GS 600 Timeless Series dry glaze windows. They will also be clear with no tint. In addition, they will be removing the fire exit that was added at some point later in the building's life as well. And they will be altering the installing lights along the south elevation as well as in the recessed entryways and a marquee along the front elevation. That's my presentation. May answer any questions.
Okay. Any questions for Ben? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we will now invite the applicant to come forward and provide additional evidence or answer questions.
Ma'am, Do you, to your left, this way.
Thank you.
You weren't sworn in?
I was not.
Okay, if you could raise your right hand. Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Laurie Jackson. I am the architect of record on the renovation of 9 South Front Street. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have on our application materials.
I have a question about that fire escape. So the whole thing's coming out?
On the south elevation along Betancourt Alley, that fire escape was added at some point by the previous owner. It is not required by the building code as a second
okay.
exit.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the applicant? No? Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you all.
We'll now open the evidentiary portion to members of the public. Okay, we'll close the evidentiary portion then and move to commissioner deliberation.
If I may, for the record, prior to commissioner deliberation, state that commission member Christopher Yermel recused himself. A reason was not stated, so upon his return, I would like to put the reason into the record, but I trust that it is in accordance with, ethical considerations.
Okay. Any?
My only question was the fire escaping. You asked it, so you're good.
Okay, in that case, then we just need a motion.
Oh, I'll hit it.
I move to approve with conditions the request for storefront renovations at the property located at 9 South Front Street. This request is consistent with the Wilmington Design Standards for Historic Districts and Landmarks. Based on the evidence provided, including the application, all attachments, testimony presented during the evidentiary hearing, and the staff report, the proposed changes, along with the conditions outlined in the staff report, are compatible with the materials, features, design, context, and character of the historic building and the surrounding historic district, and are congruous with the site, streetscape, and historic aspects of the district.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Then we'll give Mr. Yermel a minute to add his information to the record.
I've been doing pre-construction on this project, so we've done some demolition at this point and have some material interest in the outcome of the item.
Thank you.
Okay, that is the end of the items for the evidentiary hearing. So we will move on to any items from members of the commission. Nope. Okay. Then we will move on to items from the staff, including the annual report.
There is no presentation. We just wanted to make you aware that it's in your packet.
Oh, okay.
If there's any questions, we're happy to answer them. Otherwise, we can move on to the next item, which would be the adoption of your annual calendar.
The meeting dates, right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we have been provided with the report, which we can all read when we get home, and the dates for next year. So we need a motion to approve the schedule, the Historic Preservation Commission's schedule for 2025.
I move to approve the 2025 schedule.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. I think okay, so, yes, anything else?
We have one more item. We just want to bring to your attention a training opportunity that's on January 8th in Clinton. It is a small-scale development workshop and historic tax credit training program. We just want to bring to your attention, if anyone on the commission is interested in attending, we would just ask you to reach out to staff in the next few days, and we can get you registered and make travel arrangements to get up there. I think Clinton's like an hour drive, so
Okay.
if anybody's interested, just let us know.
Brian, can you instead just email us? Email the commission kind of the details of that and the date and the location and those?
Then we can.
Absolutely. We'll
answer-
send that out tomorrow morning.
It's easier.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay, great. Okay, I think we're good. then I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
We need to introduce the new staff.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I want to introduce the new staff who's already helped us tonight.
Yes, we kind of, but just to make it more
You're right,
formal.
you're right, you're right. I missed that. So we have Monica Davis, who's just joined us, and Ben Riggle. You both did a great job tonight. Thank you. Okay.
Okay,
So
all right.
now we're ready to adjourn.
Yeah.
No. Thanks, everybody.